The morning sun bathed the city in soft golden light. Birds sang, children laughed, and the streets seemed ordinary. Yet Lyra knew that today would change everything. From her hidden ship, she watched Alex Mercer as he went about his daily routine. He was still the same man she had saved long ago, strong, brave, and compassionate. But today she would no longer remain a shadow. Lyra stepped carefully onto the quiet street, her cloak hiding the faint shimmer of her alien features. Every step was calculated. The loyalist from Arendor could strike at any moment, and she could not afford to be caught. Her heart beat rapidly, but her mind remained clear. She had trained for this, planned for this, and she would not fail. Alex paused near a small fountain, adjusting his bag. Lyra's gaze softened. She remembered the moment he had saved her, the courage that had defined him even then. Now, as she observed him in the sunlight, she felt a surge of admiration. Humans were extraordinary. Their strength was not in technology or power alone, but in their courage, their ability to face danger and uncertainty with determination and hope. Taking a deep breath, Lyra stepped forward. Her feet made no sound on the pavement, and soon she was close enough that Alex could see her. His brow furrowed slightly as he took in the unusual figure before him. Lyra removed her hood, letting her silver hair fall freely around her shoulders. Her violet eyes met his, and for a moment the world seemed to pause. "Alex Mercer," she said softly, her voice melodic but urgent. "It is me." "Lyra." Alex blinked. He stared at her, disbelief and recognition warring in his expression. "Lyra? Is it really you?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. He stepped closer, his eyes scanning her face as if confirming the impossible. I thought I would never see you again." "Yes," Lyra whispered, relief flooding her. "I have traveled across the galaxy to find you. I had to see you again." Before Alex could respond, a sharp sound echoed down the street. Lyra's eyes snapped toward the noise, and there, emerging from the shadows, was the Arendor loyalist. His presence was commanding, his aura threatening. "Princess Lyra," he said, his voice cold, "you have no business here. Return to Arendor immediately." Lyra's heart raced, but she did not falter. "I will not go," she said firmly. "Not until I have seen him safely. This is my choice." The loyalist's eyes narrowed. "You dare defy the crown?" Alex stepped in front of Lyra instinctively, placing himself between her and the threat. "She's with me," he said, his tone steady but full of warning. "If you try anything, you'll regret it." The loyalist laughed, a sound that sent chills through the street. "A human protecting a princess? How amusing. But humans are fragile. You cannot stop what must be done." Lyra felt a surge of determination. She had faced impossible odds before, but now she was not alone. Alex's courage bolstered her own. Together, they were stronger than any single threat. She glanced at him, silently communicating a plan. The loyalist advanced, moving faster than any human could. Lyra reacted first, activating a small device from her cloak. A burst of light blinded him momentarily, giving Alex time to act. He grabbed a nearby metal pipe, swinging it with precision honed from years of training. The loyalist stumbled but quickly regained his balance, more furious than before. The confrontation drew attention, but Lyra did not care. She had to ensure Alex's safety. Using her agility and alien reflexes, she moved swiftly, leading the loyalist into narrow streets where his size and strength were less effective. Alex followed, his focus unwavering. Every move he made demonstrated human ingenuity, improvising weapons, finding cover, and using his environment to his advantage. The loyalist underestimated humans. He had faced advanced technology in armies, yet Alex and Lyra, using only quick thinking and teamwork, managed to outmaneuver him. At one point, Alex lured the loyalist into a narrow alley, where Lyra activated another device that created a temporary energy barrier, forcing him back. "You are clever," the loyalist snarled, regaining control. "But cleverness alone will not save you." Lyra shook her head. "It is not just cleverness. It is courage, determination, and the will to protect those we care about. That is why humans survive. Alex nodded, his eyes filled with respect and determination. And that is why we fight, he added. The loyalist realized he could not win in this environment. He growled and retreated, but not before warning them. This is not over. Arendor will not forgive this defiance. You have only delayed what is coming. Once the threat disappeared, Lyra turned to Alex. I am sorry for bringing danger to your world, she said softly, but I could not wait any longer. I had to find you. Alex smiled, though still cautious. You don't need to apologize. You saved my life once, and now I'll help protect yours. That's what we do. Humans, aliens, anyone who fights for what is right. They walked together through the streets, talking quietly. Alex learned about Lyra's journey, the dangers she had faced, and the reason for her arrival. Lyra listened, as Alex shared his life, the challenges he had faced on Earth and the small victories that made him proud. Each story deepened their connection, reminding them of the bond they had formed years ago. As night fell again, they reached the outskirts of the city. Lyra's ship was hidden in a grove of trees, safe from prying eyes. We need to leave soon, she said. If the Loyalists return, it will be more dangerous. I can take us to a secure location where we can plan our next steps. Alex nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. He trusted Lyra completely, and he knew that together they could face whatever challenges lay ahead. Lead the way, he said. The ship rose silently into the sky and Earth fell away beneath them. Lyra guided it with precision, navigating through clouds and darkness until they reached a secluded area far from the city. The view of Earth from space was breathtaking. Blue oceans, green continents, and the thin line of atmosphere glowing in the sunlight. Alex marveled at it, feeling both awe and responsibility. Lyra turned to him. You see, humans are extraordinary, she said. Not because of technology or strength or weapons, but because of courage and compassion. That is why I came to find you. That is why I trust you. Alex smiled, humbled and inspired. And that is why I'll stand with you no matter what comes. You saved me once. Now it's my turn to help you. Their moment of peace was brief. A transmission from Lyra's home. Planet arrived. Warning of political upheaval and danger to her family. The Loyalists' retreat was only temporary. Arendor's council demanded her return, claiming that her defiance threatened the stability of the galaxy. Lyra's heart sank, but she did not falter. We have faced worse, she said, and we will face it again. Together. Alex studied her, seeing the determination and strength that had captivated him years ago. Then we fight together, he said firmly. No one, not even a whole planet, can stop us if we stand as one. They began planning their next move, combining human strategy and alien technology. Lyra's knowledge of Arendor's systems and Alex's ingenuity created a powerful partnership. They knew the Loyalists would return, stronger and more determined, but they also knew that courage, trust, and intelligence were their greatest weapons. Over the next days, they trained, planned, and grew closer. Lyra learned more about humans, their resourcefulness, humor, and loyalty. Alex realized that his experiences on Earth had prepared him for challenges across the stars. Together, they were more than human or alien. They were a force of determination, ready to face the threats of a galaxy that underestimated the power of courage. The Loyalist eventually returned, but by then, Lyra and Alex were ready. Using careful planning, traps, and strategy, they confronted him with confidence. Alex's quick thinking and bravery, combined with Lyra's technology and insight, forced him to retreat once again. This time the Loyalist knew he could not win. Finally, as the threat receded, Lyra and Alex stood together, looking at the stars. We did it, Lyra said softly, smiling. We faced danger, and we survived. Alex nodded, a sense of pride and hope filling him. Humans survive, he said simply. We always do. Lyra reached for his hand, feeling a sense of connection deeper than words could express. "And I will always find you," she said. "No matter the distance, no matter the danger." Alex squeezed her hand, understanding the truth in her words. "And I will always stand with you," he replied. As the stars stretched endlessly before them, Earth below safe and peaceful for the moment, Lyra and Alex knew that their bond, their courage and their determination, could face any challenge the galaxy might send. Together, they had proven that even the smallest human heart could shine brighter than the vastness of space. The journey was far from over, but for the first time in years, both felt hope, strength, and the promise of a future forged by courage, friendship, and the unyielding spirit of humanity. The grand hall of Zephyra's palace gleamed under the light of countless floating crystals. Each crystal pulsed gently, casting faint shadows that danced across the walls. Lieutenant Jack Hayes stepped cautiously through the hall, his boots silent against the polished floor. The humans were a rare sight in this alien kingdom, and Jack knew he had to move carefully. He was here on a peacekeeping mission, but the whispers he had heard about the Zephyrian court made him wary. They were proud, meticulous, and cautious of outsiders. Jack's mission was simple in description but difficult in execution. Protect the palace guests, maintain a presence, and ensure the humans did not provoke suspicion. But the humans had a natural advantage: instinct, unpredictability, and the ability to act without the layers of protocol that weighed heavily on the Zephyrians. The first time he saw Princess Lyra, Jack almost froze. She moved with a grace he had never seen before, her long robes flowing like liquid light as she approached the dais at the center of the hall. Her skin shimmered faintly under the glow of the crystals, and her eyes, large and almond-shaped, scanned the room with sharp intelligence. There was an aura of calm authority around her, and Jack felt the strange mixture of awe and nerves that humans often felt when faced with someone far above them in rank. The crowd parted as she moved, whispering to one another in their melodic language. Jack tried to focus on his duties, scanning the hall for anything suspicious. The Zephyrians prided themselves on security, but even they could not predict every movement in a room this large. A sudden commotion near the entrance made Jack spring into action. A small maintenance drone, one of the palace's many automated helpers, had malfunctioned. It buzzed erratically, swinging its tools in unpredictable arcs. The closest Zephyrian guard froze, unsure how to deal with it, but Jack did not hesitate. He stepped forward, grabbed a nearby control rod, and deftly deactivated the drone with a quick sequence of movements he had learned back on Earth. The crowd gasped, some in admiration, some in shock. A human had acted faster than the trained Zephyrians. Jack straightened, his pulse steady, though his heart thumped a little faster at the attention. Princess Lyra had watched the entire incident from the dais, her expression unreadable. But when the human soldier stepped back into position, she blinked, and for a brief moment her hand rose to her chest. Then, almost imperceptibly, she turned and glided away from the hall, disappearing behind a set of ornate doors. Jack noticed the movement and frowned. He had not meant to startle her, yet something about the way she had recoiled and left made him curious. He had heard tales of Zephyrian rituals, methods they used to calm themselves, reset their energy, or deal with unexpected emotional shocks, but he had not expected to witness one. Later, during a break in his duties, Jack wandered the palace corridors, studying the architecture and marveling at the alien design. The walls seemed alive, subtly shifting their patterns as if responding to the presence of the people walking past. Every doorway was carved with intricate designs, showing scenes of Zephyra's history and its victories in war and diplomacy. Humans were rarely included in these tales, except as strange visitors from a distant planet. Jack's thoughts were interrupted by a soft sound, almost like water dripping, echoing from a nearby chamber. He paused and tilted his head, realizing the sound was rhythmic, deliberate, and controlled. Curiosity pushed him forward. Quietly, he approached the doorway and peeked inside. Inside, he saw Princess Lyra. She was standing in a shallow pool of softly glowing water, her robes removed and her long hair flowing over her shoulders. She moved with careful precision, dipping her hands into the water and letting the liquid wash over her skin. It was not merely washing, it was a ritual, a cleansing of the mind and spirit as much as the body. She had been startled, that much was clear, and now she was restoring herself. Jack quickly averted his gaze, embarrassed at witnessing such a private moment. Yet he could not help noticing the elegance of her movements. Every gesture seemed designed, precise, almost like a dance. It struck him that this was a culture far older and more refined than anything he had seen on Earth. He quietly stepped back, vowing to respect her privacy. As he returned to his post, he could not shake the feeling that humans were capable of more than the Zephyrians gave them credit for. It was instinct, courage, and the ability to adapt that had allowed him to handle the drone incident. He wondered if this was why the princess had reacted so strongly. A human had done something she did not expect, and in her own way, she had needed to reset her perception. The evening continued with formalities, discussions of interstellar treaties, and polite exchanges of knowledge. Jack remained attentive, blending into the background while observing. He noticed that the Zephyrians were precise, calculating, and methodical. Their culture relied heavily on technology, ritual, and control. But humans had something different: unpredictability, quick thinking, and resilience in the face of chaos. Later, during a smaller gathering in one of the palace's side halls, Jack found himself face to face with another minor incident. A small fire had started near the refreshments, likely caused by an overheated energy tray. The Zephyrian attendants froze, unsure of how to respond, but Jack acted without hesitation. Using only a small fire suppression device he carried, he quickly contained the blaze. This time, Princess Lyra had been observing openly, her eyes narrowing as she watched him work. She seemed thoughtful, perhaps impressed, perhaps calculating. When the fire was fully contained, she stepped forward, gliding toward him with the poise of someone who had never rushed, never lost control. "Lieutenant Hayes," she said in clear, melodic speech, "you act differently than the others here. Tell me, how do humans face danger?" Jack straightened, surprised that she was addressing him personally. "We rely on instinct and training," he said honestly. "We adapt, we think quickly, and we work together. We don't always have the advanced tools you have here, so we make up for it with speed and imagination." The princess considered his answer, tilting her head slightly. "Imagination," she repeated softly. There was curiosity in her voice, and for the first time, Jack felt that the mysterious ritual he had glimpsed earlier was connected to this very moment. She had been startled, perhaps unsettled, and now she was trying to understand the human mind. Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden alert. A loud alarm echoed through the palace, indicating an intrusion at one of the outer gates. Jack moved immediately, his training kicking in while Princess Lyra observed, eyes sharp and focused. Humans were unpredictable, she realized, and unpredictable could be powerful. By the time the intruders, small groups of rogue scouts, had been intercepted by the Zephyrian guards, Jack had already assessed the situation, advised on containment strategies, and even suggested minor tactical maneuvers that the guards had initially doubted but quickly accepted. His human logic had worked where protocol alone might have failed. After the threat was neutralized, Princess Lyra found him again. "You are different," she said, her tone unreadable. "Your actions do not follow our patterns, yet they succeed." Jack nodded, a small smile on his face. "We adapt, Your Highness. That is what humans do." She studied him for a long moment, then turned slightly, her eyes distant. She did not speak, but Jack understood that she was thinking deeply, reassessing what she had been taught about humans and their place in the galaxy. As the evening ended, Jack returned to his quarters. He felt a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. He had navigated the protocols of an alien palace, handled unexpected crises, and most importantly, left an impression on someone of incredible influence. Meanwhile, Princess Lyra returned to her private chambers. She did not speak, but her hands moved automatically through the motions of her cleansing ritual. She immersed herself in the pool, letting the water wash away the shock, the curiosity, and the unexpected emotions stirred by the human soldier. For the first time in her life, she considered that perhaps humans were not merely fragile or weak. Perhaps in their unpredictability and courage they were something remarkable. And somewhere in that quiet palace, a bond, subtle, fragile, but undeniable, began to form between human and princess.